Greetings to you. Greetings. Real power is in the book. It's not in the gun. I want to repeat that. Real power is in the book. Knowledge. It's not in the gun. Where is Guyana after President Irfaan Ali? Who is going to be next? You've known from time to time I've been touting Priyamani Chan and things like that. I think it's imperative to explore, to some extent, where the possibility lies as it relates to where Guyana goes from President Irfaan Ali. At the end of the day, a lot crossed our minds after the summit of the Americas, Shield of the Americas Summit. Welcome to Uncensored Guyana. I'm Dr. Prasad, Dr. L. Prasad, that is. To the folks from the Azradine camp who have refuted and forwarded whatever it is they had to forward to me, let me say this again. If you have any evidence linking President Ali, Vice President Jagdeo, Anil Nandalal, if you have any evidence linking these individuals to back in the day Phantom Squad, come forward with it. Publish it. Bring it forth. The world would like to know. And more so, those families of the deceased, they want to know too. But until then, Aubrey Norton unapologetically said 2 days ago, which would have been Sunday, that Azradine Mohammed or the Mohammed's enterprise were directly linked to the Phantom Squad in Guyana that were accused of murdering black people. Okay? Hundreds of blacks. That's what he said. And since Aubrey Norton is a politician who was in government, who would have had access to information, I have access to the testimonies and things that the public would not have been privy to, he must know what he's saying. But he didn't point the finger at the current government. He pointed a finger and he called out the Mohammeds. Let's leave it as that. What your boss should worry about is that the Shield of America targets cartels, drug smuggling, gold smuggling, money laundering, wire transfer, all the crimes that Azradine is indicted to be convicted by, it is also included in the package of Shield of the Americans. It's a security organization that deals with the security of the Americas, which is America's number one concern. And as President Ali said, we stand behind the initiative of the US because, after all, we need to protect Guyana's financial system. We need to protect Guyana's future. We need to protect Guyana's sovereignty from invasion of elements that seeks to destroy and destabilize our country. Azzuddin Mohammed, your guy, is currently before the courts fighting extradition to the US to deal with similar crimes, if not the same. So Shield of the Americas is an organization established to specifically target criminals like Azzuddin Mohammed. They put that together with him in mind, people like him, to deal with. So in no way, and you see they're running to the appeals court now, because today is the 10th. Today is the 10th. 2 more days. They are running to the appeals court to appeal the initial order of extradition. They don't want to deal with anything after that. They want to deal with the entire beginning of the order. So if the appeals court can revisit what the High Court judge already dismissed, and they can win in the appeals court, it means that the appeals court will throw out the entire case. So the case before Judge Judy automatically will disappear. That's what they were hoping to achieve that with the High Court, wasn't successful. Then they're running to the appeals court. If they don't get what they're looking for in the appeals court, where do you think they'll go next? The CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice, which the Mohammed's lawyers will use as a premise to tell Judge Judy, you can't continue with the extradition case because the entire extradition application is before the CCJ for them to decide if in fact it is lawful and should have happened. So Judge Judy has to wait until the CCJ pronounced on that, which could take months or years. After which, if the CCJ says, well, this case is legit and it has to go ahead, then it has to go back to Judge Judy and she has to start the process all over again. Which means by the time it reaches that point, 2030 has arrived and we have the next election. That's what these crooks are hoping to achieve. So they're running now to the appeals court, even though they know what the results would be. The appeals court would not overturn the judgment of the High Court. It wouldn't. But they're going anyway. Then they'll go to the CCJ. Watch this. Folks, watch this. See them do that. And they'll use that to say you can't have the local courts adjudicate on this case because it's before the CCJ. Watch this and see it play out exactly how I just told you. In the meantime, he is there to go into all these cowboy neighborhoods and video mud dams where the people in the neighborhood can take their shovels and their hoe and dig some dirt and plug whatever breakage they have in their mud dams. They could do it. But he's using all of these little things that are insignificant to let his following that he has, oh my gosh, look, so much money Guyana has, and look at the mud dam. Yes, let them know that those mud roads that you're showing, it's way in the back dam, way where the sugar cane is. You want asphalt roads where they mill the sugar? You want them to start transporting sugar on concrete roads? Forget the trenches? Is that it, Azruddin? You need to work for your 48 million budget that you have. So I get it. Do your stuff. But like I said to your supporters, you will get your justice. You will get your justice. And the justice that you will get, that you deserve, is to have the PNC and win, integrate, and Aubrey Norton as your opposition leader. That's one justice you'll get. In the meantime, I've said on many occasions, Guyana must deploy the military to deal with gangs and crime and these violence from these Negroes in the ghettos. I've said that. Those of you who have watched and followed me faithfully, you know I've been saying it from day one. I've been saying it. You saw the other day where the scraps and scrape in Linden, that cursed tongue continues to be the hub for criminals. That's like the Epstein Island. That's where they go to hang out. Linden. The worst of the worst you find there. That's like a prison by itself, but they have access in and out. You see, the other day they're fighting over, I guess somebody didn't get his share from the robbery. But in the video, one of them is walking around with a AK-47. And there's so many other people around there. Daytime. They're comfortable with this asshole with an AK-47 quarreling with the other one who apparently he didn't pay or give his cut from the robbery. That's the normal thing. That's normal in Linden. Now, if you hear that the one with the AK-47 is shot by the police, oh, the Prince of Linden would run and say, hey, look, injustice. He killed a nigger with a gun. So I've said, deploy the military in Guyana to work alongside the police. If you said the police is corrupt, one organization that can't afford to have that stigma is the military. You see why many countries use their military to conduct high-profile operations, like going after gangs, going after high-profile murders and things like that? Because the same countries, they can't trust the police. Trinidad also, I think they've already deployed their military. Guyana, as Donald Trump said at the Shield of the Americas summit, you have to use your military. I've been saying it all the time. Now Trump had to come out and tell these presidents and these leaders, the 12, the chosen 12, the 12 disciples of Latin America, with the cornerstone being President Ali. Donald Trump said, use your military to curb crimes, to deal with transnational trafficking, to deal with drugs, to deal with violence. Use your military. This is a position I've always had. The police are too compromised, especially in Guyana. They're too compromised. They know everybody. I'm not going to point a finger to say they're getting a drawback. That's not for me to say. But you have seen, folks, you have seen how the niggas harass the police. You've seen, they film it. They film it and they put it online. They want you to see how they bully the police. And if these Negroes can bully the police Black people like themselves, tall, strong, powerful, muscular black men and women. Look at what them niggas in Georgetown and Guyana is doing to blacks like themselves. How do you expect the rest of the country to feel safe? They're beating up on police, black police with guns. What chance you think a poor Indian man or Indian woman or Chinese or Caucasian or Amerindian, what chance do they have without a gun in Georgetown to defend themselves against these Negro thugs? What chance they have? They ain't got a chance. They have no chance. They are at the mercy of the other onlookers who might be looking and filming. Let the military, Home Affairs Minister, have the military. You want to stop crime, you want to stop drugs. Every day you're catching people with marijuana, cocaine, guns every day. I mean, you can solve this fast. The military isn't there to discuss. They're there to defend Guyana from the enemies without and within. And within has a whole lot of enemies. You're focusing on Venezuela? No, Shield of America doesn't include Venezuela. So while we have to watch out for them, America has more to lose. If Venezuela still go ahead with the Maduro initiative to want to annex Essequibo, America has more to lose. So they ain't gonna sit by and have that woman who has taken over Maduro think she's that stupid, knowing that they want her too, to bring up that stupid talk. But in the meantime, you have bigger terrorists in Guyana that the Guyana government must deal with. Use the military to take them out. And since you have this opposition leader who's on his way out, he's putting wood that is drenched with gasoline in the fire to make it bigger. They're getting empowerment from him. They think that listening to Azradin and standing with Azradin is somehow standing up for Guyana. We can't afford that. Put the military on the road to deal with them niggas. You don't need to arrest them. You see them with a gun, it's self-defense. Assume the worst. Deal with them. So the concern is, who's next? I did my own research. I've been hearing from people. A few people have been contacting me, calling me, and things like that. And you know what? The audacity of some of these fools, and they're PPP too. I ain't talking about PNC or, well, WIN is PNC. I'm talking about some PPP persons. And I want you to listen. I know you listen. I know a lot of you are watching. I know all of you are watching. I want you to listen to me. I'm not them other losers on the internet who just jump on a camera and think they're, no, I ain't them. I'm pro. This is purpose. This has a mission. Okay? This is real influence. There are lots of people from around the world, important organizations that are following me. A lot of them. So this ain't no fly by night, pick up some ghetto from somewhere, somebody drinks some rum, they get high and they smoke something and they come and carry me. No. This is way higher. So I'll say this to you. Government officials, people from the People's Progressive Party Civic, cabinet ministers in Guyana, I personally have no loyalty to you. The People's Progressive Party is a party of hundreds of thousands of people, not a band of 20, not ministers of the government, not even President Ali. By extension, I support my president. I stand with my president. While I've said before to the Win supporters not to send me whatever they think they have to say, well, I have to prove that I am impartial by also exposing whatever, I tell them no, do it on Ajuddin's wall. He likes those things. I'm not getting into that. To the persons who profess online to be supporters of the PPP, and you pretend to talk good about President Ali, but yet you're contacting me and are telling me things in confidence. I can call your names, but it wouldn't serve the purpose. So I'll tell you this now. Everybody, human being, is corrupt. You ain't better than the person you are accused of being corrupt. Because if you get the opportunity, you might do worse. My take is performance. That's my take. So when I speak on behalf of, not on behalf, but when I speak in favor of the PPP, I'm talking about Guyana's future. Look at Guyana's history to date. You see who put Guyana on the map? A PPP president, Irfaan Ali. No other party. There are several parties in Guyana. The one who put Guyana on the map, the one who has the world talking about Guyana, the one who is on Fox News, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, African newscast, European newscast, most of the world's papers, and is the most trending president in Latin America is Irfaan Ali. Nobody else. And he is from the PPP. That's my treasure. That's worth gold for me. I'm concerned about who replaces him. He set a very high bar. Who is going to replace him? Now we have like 5 potential candidates. 5. Whoever you think, keep it to yourself or comment online. Just say who your choice is. But for me, and based on what's trending, based on what the data shows that Guyana may want to see as presidential candidate, I'm suggesting those. The number one on the list, the number one person on the list for a possible presidential candidacy in 2030 is Priya Manichan. The number one. When I was saying it since last year, it was not out of research. I did it because I have analyzed the woman myself. I've observed, I've looked at all the others. I've listened. And from my intuition, from my spirit, from my own feelings, coupled with my thoughts, I've been talking about her. Just her. It so happened that based on the data and what is trending within Guyana and the diaspora regarding possible candidates to date, to now, for a replacement of President Ali, Priya Manichan is number one. Number one. And she's the Minister of Local Government. Okay? This is across the board. It's not a PPP thing. All factions of society seem to trend towards the possibility as Priya Manichan being the first elected female president of Guyana. Janet Jagan wasn't elected by default because of the death of our leader. She stepped into that role, but we're talking about conscious selection and for the election. Priya Manichan, she has demonstrated her capacity, her love for governance, her love for people, her love for the public, her love for Guyana's infrastructure, Guyana's democracy. Based on that, she's the number one choice to replace President Irfaan Ali. Those of you who have this thing that you say, and I'm aware of that too, about the civic component and this component and that component and all them fucking politics, this and politics that, who gives a shit? You think Guyanese are concerned about that? You think Guyanese are bothered with that party politics nonsense? They're not. Whatever party structure, the structure they think to protect, whatever they're protecting, I don't know what shit it is, that's for the party. The people aren't concerned about that. The only identity that a PPP should be concerned about is protecting the legacy of Chedi Jagan. And anybody from the PPP can do that. Anybody. So if you're talking about PPP Civic, it's one party. It's not left and right. It's not mommy and daddy. People vote for the PPP. So on campaign trails, during elections, if it is so important to separate the civic component, then you should tell the people that. When you go to campaign, say, folks, this faction here is from the civic and this faction from the PPP. See what happens. See if you'll get votes. Guyanese are not concerned about that bullshit. I say it's bullshit. Because when Guyanese vote, they vote for the candidate from the PPP. They don't have in their head, I wonder if it's from the civic or from the PPP. Oh, but they say that the presidential candidate can't come from the civic component, only the vice president, only the prime minister. Well, if all of the candidates or possible candidates from the PPP are a bunch of losers that nobody loves, and you have candidates from the civic component that everybody loves, you're going to risk losing an election because you can't compromise on party politics? I say it's nonsense. So whether Priya Manichan is from the civic component or the PPP component, I don't want to hear that shit, man. Component. It's fucking bullshit. It gets me upset when I got to talk about that. We're dealing with a PPP. Okay? You deal with your civic stuff, whatever it means and represent, deal with that. We're talking the PPP. Everybody's from the PPP. Okay? If the country wants Priya Manichan, she should be the leader, the next leader of the People's Progressive Party Civic, therefore being the presidential candidate. She's in politics for a long time. She's served the country a long time. I'm saying based on what the data says, she's the number one to replace President Irfaan Ali. Now we have the second. According to the data, the second is Vikram Bharat. You have heard he had issues with Azuddin. Azuddin also picked on this guy. Apparently, he blames Vikram Bharat for the Mohammeds losing the oil contract to build something for ExxonMobil. You know, they had the issue with when Exxon had to withdraw the contract because the Mohammeds were sanctioned and blah blah blah, and they lost all. Yeah, he thinks it's Vikram Bharat's fault. So he had his pundits create propaganda and fabricate this against the minister. And the common thing, the common thing that PNC and Ajruddin and all these people usually come with, oh, corruption, corruption, enriching themselves. You know, the what they call it, the signing bonus, it went to Vikram's pocket. The things politicians must endure. But you got to have a thick skin. You have to be a Bharat. You know, you got to be this indispensable, like Bharat Jagdeo. You have to. Otherwise, to that, you'll be like me. You'll be, every little thing will piss you off. I couldn't be a politician, man. I'm too thin-skinned. So these guys got to be tough. Vikram Bharat, Priya Manichan, they got to be tough to deal with them thugs who keep sending ammunition their way. But Vikram Bharat, the Minister of Natural Resources, he is the second next to Priya, the number two. You never thought about it, right? Yeah. People have thought about it. Now, I wanted to dig a little bit more into the whole Vikram Bharat thing. And I'll say this. Obviously, most of the people that are in the PPP, they would have been born into the party, meaning their parents or some relatives, somebody for them would have been in the party long before they came into this world. So they grew up with the ideology, they grew up with the following the party and things like that, and they became adults, they studied, they endorsed, they spent their lives only in politics. Career politicians, so to speak. These are people you can trust because all they know is to serve people. They're career politicians. You can't trust people like Ajruddin, a businessman, sanctioned, running from his crime into politics and trying to distract the whole country from his crimes and pretend that he loves poor people. No, people like that, out the door. They're not sincere. But people like Priya Manichan and all these other people who are raised in politics, they know what it's like to work. You could trust people like that. So the fact that the oil sector, the natural resources sector regarding gold and oil and minerals, all of the natural wealth of Guyana has been properly managed from 2020 to now, in that the country has seen hundreds of billions in income from these sectors that has been overlooked, overseen by Vikram Bharat. It meant that he is doing good. He's making a difference. Because no minister that's corrupt can generate that amount of admiration, wealth, respect, and honor globally if he was anything but responsible. So Vikram Bharat has delivered on the job. He has secured a second term as minister of the same ministry. Not because it's a favor to the president, it's because he has done a good job. If the man has done well, why fire him? Why get rid of him? So Guyana, the conscious aspect of Guyana, have seen he's delivering. The country is delivering. They're seeing massive growth as a result of the proper management of the natural resources sector, especially the oil at a time like this. So naturally, people would like, hey, we want him. If he can do this good as Minister of Natural Resources, imagine him being president. So Guyanese, to some extent, have him as a second choice, Minister Bharat. Next to him is the bishop. I never thought a black man would make the list. Because quite frankly, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. But you know, black people don't vote for black people. But Bishop One Edgel has earned the admiration and respect from a lot of blacks. I mean, he has it from the Indo-Guyanese side, but the blacks would rather vote for Priya Malik Chan or Bikram Barrett than one of their own. You know, black people. Black people don't support black people. So, but because of the fact that One Edgel has never been marred in corruption, accused of anything, and he has delivered, building Guyana, every vision of the president, he executed it to the letter. Bishop One Edgel has the receipts. He's one man you can say he has the receipts when it comes to infrastructure development in Guyana. He was the right man for the job. So Guyanese are ambitious. If he could do this good in this short time as Minister of Public Works, imagine him as president, the first black presidential candidate for the PPP. Quite a challenge. And besides, One Edgel is somebody that you can trust. He's what you call an Uncle Tom Negro. Why do I say that? Men like that don't betray their foundations. His foundation has always been the PPP. I've never heard any reports from anywhere where Bishop Edgel was a PNC. Never. As long as I have been conscious of politics and how the Guyana system works, One Edgel was always a Jaganite, Bar Jagdeo, always. He has never faltered, never strayed in and out of politics, in and out of government. He stayed loyal to the PPP, and that's the kind of people you need. When times are good, they're there. When times are bad, they're still there. A Negro like that you can trust. That's why he made number 3. Because people want continued development. And if he can take orders from the president to build Guyana the way he's building it, imagine as president taking order from the Guyanese people to say, hey, now we want to have trains. We want flying cars. We want skyscrapers. We want underground railroad, roadways. We want tunnels. Imagine what he will do as president. But he's number 3 on the list. Number 4, to actually deal with the development and continued progress of Guyana is Zulkar Mustafa, Minister Mustafa, the Minister of Agriculture. The number 1 enemy to Azruddin Mohammed. Why is that so? Minister Mustafa, why is it that Azruddin hates you that much? Is it because, I don't know, Azruddin seemed to have a thing for sucking cane, and he's threatened because he thinks you want to close down the factories? I can understand. If he has I don't know, maybe he likes sucking cane, you know, sucking sugar cane. A lot of men like it, they get fun from it. Or he has a problem with eating his vegetables. I mean, you always know when children does not listen to their parents and say, you have to eat your vegetables as a kid. I used to eat my vegetables. I mean, that's why I'm like this. But if all you can memorize as a child is the number plates on vehicles passing, it meant you never ate your vegetables. So Azruddin Mohammed, I can understand why you have an issue with Minister Mustafa. But look, Guyana has him as number 4 as possible replacement for President Ali. Why? Because you got to eat. And if so far the minister has been very um, resourceful and he has demonstrated his ability to produce food for the nation, keeping Guyana well fed and healthy, why won't he be a candidate? Of course, because Guyanese are impressed with his performance. Guyanese are impressed with the work that the Mustafa is doing. So they see a possible candidate in him as president. And why you think they suggest that, Azrin, is because they know if you, nah, you won't be around. But while you watch from federal prison, you have a phone. Maybe they'll put up television so you can see. Guyanese will actually vote for him over Norton. Norton still wants another chance. He's still trying. See, that's why he's coming out now and he's picking. He still hopes that he might improve, maybe he'll get some Botox and other stuff and he can still compete. But Guyanese are seeing that they see possibilities of voting for Mustafa as president from the PPP. Because after all, he has managed the agriculture sector well. Guyana produces a lot. The growth is stabilized. There's new investment, scientific research. There's technology in the sector. There's development in the sector. It's expanded. And pretty soon, Guyana, thanks to President Ali, would be able to feed the Caribbean, Latin America. That's why Trump identified Ali. That's why they did not put sanctions on Guyana like they did on that Bajan president. What's her name? Mia something. Motley. That racist. She hates America. She hates Guyana, and that's why they were banned from America. But Mustafa has great potential. So Guyanese see the possibilities of him being one of the possible replacement for President Ali come 2030. That's if the president don't have a third term. I hope he does, but we got to be realistic here. And number 5 is Anil Nandalal. I didn't thought he'd make the list, but he did. Mr. Nandalal, congratulations. You're number 5. Of all the candidates, Guyanese are not that much impressed, but these are the selections. Mr. Nandalal's possibility to replace President Ali. These are the, number 5. Now, I am not personally impressed because I don't like how he handled the Mohammed's case. I also don't like the weak laws in Guyana. And every time you had the women's thing yesterday, Women's Day yesterday, you hear all of these talking points. By the way, the First Lady, Miss Ira Ali, Madam First Lady, you need to speak more. You need to do more public speaking. I'm impressed. I'm like, wow. No wonder Ali keeps her close. Man, she got a beautiful voice. Very sexy voice. You need to speak more, First Lady. Eloquent, soothing. Your diction is in order. I mean, you are. I give you 100%. Score. Go, girl. I must commend you, First Lady, for your. Forget the speech. I'm talking about your performance. I've never heard a First Lady spoke like that before. Never. If it's President Ali that is teaching you, Madam First Lady, well, I guess it works. 'Cause he's the best when it comes to public speaking. And you would naturally expect his wife to step up to that. So you are quite a couple. Bravo, First Lady. Now, why I mentioned that all the speech with all the people making speeches, usually speeches, every time it's a speech, it's a speech. But the statistics are the same. Forever, since whenever, 19th, whatever, women are being abused. They beat up on women, beat up on girls, beat up on boys. Violence against women, boys, whatever it is, it's the same. It's rising. It's getting higher and higher and higher. Why? Alan Nandalal, you are three times Attorney General, three times. Look at the crime statistics against women, girls, boys. Look at it. It's going higher. And everybody acknowledged, oh, it's because the punishment is not that severe. Of fucking course it's not that severe. Of course it's not. That's why it's going up. That's why it's rising and rising. Because the punishment is stupid. It's stupid. And every time all you get is yeah, 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 yeah. Talking. Do something about it. Do something about it. Laws must be sharper, harsher, punishment heavier. Just last week, for robbery under arms in Berbice, they call it the Cinderella town. We have Coribaton, but we can't change the name to Cheddy Town. Anyway, just last week, for robbery under arms, them niggas got bail. 2026, and we're talking about laws and punishment. And still, when these fucking niggas commit crime, robbery under arms, they beat up on their women, they shoot their women, they stab them, they injure them. When they do all of that, Mr. Nandalal, what happens? They get bail. They get bail. How do you expect Guyanese to trust you as a presidential candidate or president if you can't keep them safe by having stricter laws as an attorney general? You can't do it as an attorney general. How are you going to do it as president? How? You'll have all the powers you need. You mean President Ali is preventing you from pushing for stricter legislation to ease or stop crime? So the only way you could do better is if you are the president? No, all the other people are functioning. Vikram Bharat, Priya Manichan, Ejil, Mustafa, they're doing what they have to do as ministers because they have the constitutional protection and power to do it. They don't need president's approval. They're not saying, well, if I'm president, I'll do better. No, they're doing better now. And based on that, the Guyanese are saying, we could trust them to be president. But you as Minister of Legal Affairs, a very important ministry. The people are not safe because they know when these niggas commit crime, they're not properly punished. That's where the law comes in. They're not properly and severely punished. You want people to come back from the diaspora to vote for you. Come to what? To being attacked, robbed, raped, possible murder, and no justice? No, you Guyanese, you have 4 years to fix this. You can go back up to the top. Because right now, prayer is trending. But you can get there. But you have to deliver real service. Convince the Guyanese that you can make a difference. Then you would see Mr. Nandalal. Here's a tip. Your broadcast, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, The reason why a lot of people don't tune into you is because same bullshit, same bullshit. When you start acting real justice for the Guyanese people, you will see your viewership will rise. Means you're getting more popular amongst your constituents. But if it's going down, it means that people are not bothering with you anymore. But still, you are a potential replacement. But at number 5, Bishop One Edgel, the black guy, is at number 3. Imagine that. You want to go up? You got to start acting. Deal first with Ajruddin. That will be a good legacy for you. Get rid of him first. All these things you have. The fake stories with the hospital about sick with no medical report. All of these fake claims. They sent an arrest warrant for him, but yet it was just dismissed after that. Investigate all of that. Deal with that. Let the Guyanese see that you are a serious Minister of Legal Affairs. Serious. They don't want a jokey president. Look at President Irfaan Ali. Look at President Irfaan Ali. How could anybody beat him? That's a tall, tall order to follow. Whoever gets the nomination for the presidency of the PPP would have to beat that Irfaan Ali. It's not easy. But you got to start now. Deliver real justice for Guyanese and see your position move up. But for now, number 1 is Priya Manikchan. Number 2 is Vikram Barak. Number 3 is One Edgel, 4 Mustafa, and 5 you. Not good. So all these things with your brother at GPL and all, it's not good for the candidacy. People still have some belief that you can make a difference, but it's not good. Got to dispel all of that, get rid of all of that. And then we get justice. Pressure the Home Affairs Minister to put the military on the streets. We got to deal with crime. It's too ugly. You see it every day. There are decent Afro-Guyanese who don't even want to come to the city. They want to explore their country. They want to enjoy their country. They want to go to the malls. They want to go watch a movie away from their homes and their telephones. They want to wear their nice jewelry, show off with their nice outfit. They want to do those things, but how can they do that when every time they tuned into the internet, be it TikTok, Facebook, they see people from the PNC and the Win Party pushing crime, police getting beat up, accidents on the road, death every day is a death, gun violence, women being murdered and raped, and that's what they're seeing. They're not even safe in their own homes, but at least they could defend themselves. How would they want to come out on the road? When these criminals, when they get caught, they get bail. No justice. Put the military on the street. Pressure the Home Affairs Minister. Get the military on the street. And you have to deliver justice. I would say, you also see next to President Trump, they had the man from the death camp. Was it again? From Ecuador. The place where they send a lot of these people that they would never come back. Yeah. The solutions were there. Trump wanted the world to see, hey, you see, this guy controls the prison that I'm going to send you. Guyana can build some of those prisons. You have the space to do it. Remove the Camp Street jail from Georgetown. Take it somewhere else on the border, somewhere where it could be easily bombed, and take all them niggas there, away from society. You don't want them in the city. Even at Luzikland, take them out. You want decent folks in the developed area, urban areas, the city. You want decent, law abiding people. Get rid of the prisons from those areas and ship all them troublemakers, them demons and them thugs and them scraps and them scrapes and the Ajradines, ship them out to those prisons that are far close to the devil's den. Keep Guyana safe. Black people want to be safe. Indians want to be safe. The Chinese wants to be safe. Everybody wants to be safe in Guyana. But if you don't have the right punishable crime, laws, harsh laws, and you have a no bail structure for crimes with arms robbery under arms, no bail. You attack somebody with a knife with intention to injure them or kill them, no bail. The man beat up on his wife and disfigure her face, whatever it is, put a heavy fine on him. Make sure they all get jail time. Even if the woman come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, he's a provider. You have the Ministry of Social Services, right? You have the women's organization. Yeah, Red Thread. They can't discriminate. We know Red Thread is PNC, but after all, they got to deliver services. They get government's grants. But all of this, when you deliver real services to the people, they trust you. They realize that this man has our back. You can't be weak on crime and think it's good because somebody benefits from it. No, we're having issues with the Mohammeds being fingered in the Phantom Squad situation. Mr. Nandalal, that's ammunition for you. If you have the opposition leader, Aubrey Norton, fingering Ajudin Mohammed in the Phantom Squad, this is things that you should run with. Run with it. Call Norton and say, hey, you have information, give us. Have all your platforms push that narrative, because Norton wouldn't say that if he didn't know for a fact that Ajudin was involved with the Phantom Squad. He wouldn't say it. He knows he could be sued for that. The fact that he said it, is because he knows for a fact, and this is good for you, Minister of Legal Affairs, and the DPP and all these people. That's good for you. Win the Guyanese back. I believe in you, Mr. Nandalal. I dream that one day I can be rich like you. I do. I don't want to be a Minister of Legal Affairs. I got to be a lawyer for that, right? Isn't that the case? Got to be a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. But I need to be Home Affairs Minister. Yep. I need that position. I'll do it for free. Man, I'll do that for free. You don't give me no vehicle. I want no cash grant. Just pay my rent, feed the family, and I'll do it for free. I need nothing else from the government. As Minister of Home Affairs, I'll open my own door. Promise you that. I'll drive myself. But make me your Home Affairs Minister, and I guarantee you, the first 6 months, I'm going to clean the streets of every thug, every junkie, every criminal, every wannabe criminal. I'll clean the fucking streets. 6 months. That's a promise that I can deliver. You better believe it. Thanks for your attention. We have more issues to cover in the future, but for now, share this live. I want to hear from you in the comments and tell me if you agree with the five choices and with the order of the five choices. I would like to know, and I'm sure that President Ali, well, it wouldn't be up to him, it's up to the Congress to elect whoever it is to lead the party in the next election. But of course, they all watch the show. They watch me. Trust me, they do. Because I make sense. All right. And you, my followers, you, the viewers, even if you're against whatever, your comment is also important and necessary. So I thank you for your attention. Share the live, give me the thumbs up, the likes, and subscribe to the channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Just click there, it says subscribe, so we can grow in our numbers. On TikTok, do the same. On Facebook, do the same, so we can expand. And whoever our choice is for president in 2030, whoever our choice is, I will stand with you to make sure that we keep Guyana great under the greatest political movement in the history of Guyana's democracy. That is since Chedi Jagan, and that's the PPP. Until next time, goodbye.